Hello everybody, this is Greg29407 back with another edition of Astroneer. Well, we've already gone through the entire game, and since our last video I have finished everything. I finished the entire game, I got to the end credits and everything, and still enjoying playing the game though, it's still a lot of fun. And we're here on our main base, and I did something I wanted to see if I could do, and I didn't think it was going to work, but it did work. I have circumnavigated this planet. This is the Sylva planet, this is the home base planet. I have circumnavigated. I've always talked about it. I've thought about it for a long time. I wanted to see if you could go all the way around the entire planet and end up back where you started from. I know it's theoretically possible. I wasn't sure if it would be possible to do in the game, and it is. I'm going to take you there today. I'm going to show you how I did it. In this game, we have only two tools for circumnavigating the planet. If you put the cursor down over the Astroneer's feet, you can see the little compass. A lot of players don't know that compass exists. But it's very important. The only other tool we have is the big purples. At night you can see the little thing up in the air in the night sky, and they can kind of lead you there. So what I wanted to do was go ahead and circumnavigate using those two tools and see if I could end up back where I started off at. So let's get in the tractor, and let's head on over to Big Purple, because that was where I started from. Now, you can start from anywhere, of course. Oops, and then you run right into the one plant. No, that's not getting off to a good start. Okay, let's go over to Big Purple, which is where I started from. I thought it'd be easier to have Big Purple as my goal, because it is lit up big and it's purple and it glows in the dark. Notice I've laid a road here. See how nice and smooth this is? Look at that. Oh my goodness. I have laid this road around the entire planet. The entire planet has this road. Yes, the entire planet has a roadway system now. And it's beautiful. And it took me forever to do. And I'm still running into stuff. So let's go over here to Big Purple. And here we are. Now, my first plan... my first plan was to go ahead and lay tethers around everything. That proved to be completely unavailable, because there is a limit of how many tethers you can lay in the game. I'm not sure what the number is, but I've gotten to the point now on this planet where if I move any tether, there's a lag of a few seconds while the computer has to reconfigure everything. So I'm pretty close. And the reason for that is I have all those tethers going underground. Because on this planet, I actually tethered all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so let me get out of the tractor here. Now, I made this little thing. This tells me I can go in either direction. This is the starting point. I can go... Oh, first of all, I found out later that this Big Purple is the North Pole. I didn't realize that until midway through my extravaganza. Notice that it's pointing to the north. And as we move around, north is turning. Yes, north is moving. And now it's that way. So this is the North Pole. And that was just a coincidence. It doesn't have to be that way. But it's just kind of fortuitous. There's also a Big Purple located directly on the South Pole. So on this particular route, we're going to see 4 of the 6 Big Purples. I know where one other is. It's off the beaten path. May build a road to that at some point. But anyway, what I wanted to do was I started over here, and I wanted to go due south. So if you come down here, due south. So I want to head south, and if I go south long enough, what will happen is I will end up right back here. So I'm going to go. Now you can do south to north or north to south, however you want to do. East to west is probably not going to work very well, because you can kind of get thrown off a little bit. So anyway, I did not use tethers for everything, but I did use these things. What you will see as we go through is I made 2 pillars, like 2 giant columns that I would then drive between. And that was because it's very difficult to keep track of where you're going. I managed to do this my first try, But when I went ahead to recreate my steps by going backwards, I kind of got lost a few times. I had to find the pillars again. So these pillars really help out. This one just tells me, all right, this is the starting point. You can go that way or you can go that way. We're going to come back around through here and right back up here at the end. But we're going to head straight down there. So what I did was, as I went through, I did these pillars and just to keep myself on track. And you'll see, though, that you cannot go due south the entire way. That's because there are these pesky mountain ranges always in the way. And I also have my drill in the front of my tractor. I did use that a couple of times. It came in a little bit handy. So again, it took me about 4 hours to do this, and then it took me about another 5 or 6 hours to lay this road. So the entire route we're going to go today is going to be pretty smooth. There are some bumps where I have to adjust for the curvature of the planet, but overall it is a flat road. And you can see where I have these pillars to help guide us, because even with the flat road, it's a little tough. I thought about doing a little bit slightly raised road and doing a color on it, because you can do special colors, but I thought, that's just kind of overkill. As if circumnavigating the globe wasn't overkill enough. So we have to do some turns because of we got all these fissures in here, and we got the big mountain path. So there's big purple there, over there. We're coming around a little bit. And you can see we're almost headed back towards our base. There's our base over there. We're not going that way, we're going this way because we want to stay on the due south path as much as possible. We have gotten a little bit off somewhat, but we're going to get back in. Here's a couple more of our pillars. And we go in this way. And in the daytime, it's probably much easier to see my nice smooth road. So we'll go a little slower than normal. This is where I had to use my boring machine. Cut through this mountain. And as you can see up ahead, there's the next big purple. Here's the thing. I would not recommend cutting through the mountains. Just to give you a tip off. There, of course, this is hard rock. You can do it. You could go straight due south, exactly due south if you want to, and cut through the mountains, but it's really, really difficult. What I found was best was to go around the mountain tops until you get to where the mountains start to merge into either with plains or with the forests, and go cut through there. Much easier to do, much easier to keep track of where you're going. Highly recommend that. Now here we're getting to this big purple. I did not light up all these big purple I could have. I chose not to because I just want our one target one to be lit up so we know when we're back. The road goes around here. And we're back on the due south route. And again, there's always going to be a mountain pass due south. I have found that to be true. There's always going to be a mountain pass. So again, I want to go straight through there, but that mountain is in the way. I'm going to go through here for a little bit. And I'm going to see where these two mountains meet. There's a little low-level area, which is easier to cut out. You can see it kind of came down a little valley here, so I cut through it. Try to make it as even as possible. Go around these mountains. Get back on my due south path. And again, these columns really, really help out. I've added some since then because it was just so helpful. Now again, I'm headed due south right this second, and right ahead of me is a mountain pass. I tried going that way first. It just was not getting me where I needed to go. So I said, let's go this way. And this is much faster. See, there's a big solar panel wreckage up there. So I had to veer off a little bit to the east. So I can get around this mountain so I can head south again. And we head south again. And again, I got my columns up here. What do you know? There's another mountain pass in the way. Of course it is. Again, I'm going to bore through here. And notice in the distance there's another big purple, and that is the one from the South Pole. And the South Pole looks a lot like the South Pole should look. It is really icy and frozen. Again, I did not realize it was the South Pole until I reached it. There it is. So that's going to be the South Pole. Now, there's a fifth one of these right up here. If you go straight up through here, and I did that by accident when I was trying to find my way through, another big purple is right over here. It's a little bit out of a distance. So I'll probably add that in at some point, add a road going that way too. This was tough. There's a lot of crevices and ravines along here. And this particular big purple was covered. Was covered in ice and rock and everything. So I really dug a lot of that out just because I had some time. I had a bit of an illness recently, so I had a lot of free time on my hands. So I dug to that. This was all covered. In fact, you could all of this part right here was all covered in stone and ice all the way up to about here. So I dug all that out. And I want to go due south, but I can't because it's blocking my way, and these mountains are really huge. So I'm going to need to go around those mountains. And I found right here where, again, the mountains meet the forest, the forest hills, which are easy to dig into. So I use my boring machine to cut right through here. Now, if we get out here, we're no longer headed south, we're headed north because we just passed the South Pole and everything is due north from there. So we are now headed due north. And if we plan this right, well, in my mind I said, if I plan this perfectly right with no problems, I will end up back at my big purple that's all lit up. But what are the chances of that happening? And it did happen. It did happen. All right, so you can see why the columns are helpful, because even with that flat road, I was a little confused where to go here. Okay, now here we had the mountain and another mountain, and this was still mountainous, so I had to use my boring machine on the front of my tractor to dig through this as well. This was a tough one. This one took quite a while to dig through. And I dug a little high. I didn't want to go down too deep, so I was a little conservative on that. So I got this bit of a lip here. I'm going to go off on an angle a little bit, so I'm going back north again once you pass these columns. And we're basically just out for a Sunday drive at this point. You can see my little leftover organics that I did. And right up here, I got kind of turned around. My first attempt was to go that way. And I got all turned around and got confused. I said, oh, wait a minute, I think I need to go straight over this way. And I cut my way through this forest. Got me back on track. I still have quite a few things I can pick up as well. And look at it, there's another big purple off in the distance. This will be the fourth big purple. Is that right? Third big purple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Fourth big purple. Take a little right. Now this looks like it's a bumpy road and stuff. It is actually very smooth. Smooth as you're ever going to get on this game. There are some bumps just because of the curvature of the planet. So I'm going to cut through the mountainside again. Well, not really a mountainside. I went really through the forest. And here is number 4. And we're headed due south. And look what's due north at this point. Look what's straight ahead of us. A gigantic mountain range. And I can get through that. So I tried going this way, and it seemed to be a long road. I said, well, let me see the other way. This other way proved to be very, very nice. And for some reason, this little stretch right here, without a road, it was fine. But when I was trying to lay a road, for some reason, I had a hard time getting it flat. So it was up and down and up and down. This is like probably my worst section of road. I spent the most time on this one stretch. I don't know why I couldn't get it right. That beautiful sunset, or maybe sunrise. And then when they take the turn, we're in a nice big open field, which makes the road building very, very easy. We got right up here. I started to run into some problems with a bunch of ravines and sheer cliffs. So there's a lot more having to build bridges and things like that. So we got really hard ground. I had to use my drill, and all these deep ravines. I did not want to explore those the hard way. Messed up, man. Lots of little bridges. I kept through the forest again. Again, still more decent amount of research to find. Get a little hang time. And look what's straight ahead. Not only is it Big Purple, but it's our lit up Big Purple. It's the place we start off at. So I was tearing through this one. I just wanted to make my road and get all the way to the end. And we are back at the beginning. Look at that. There's that thing again. So we have circumnavigated the globe. And again, we did it just using big purples to help as our waypoint, and this handy dandy little compass. And those are still pointing to due north. This point is right here. And if we go past due north, hit north, turn, 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 and now we're headed due south again. Isn't that amazing? And I don't know if it was dumb luck that I did this right the first time. I don't know. But it was a lot of fun. So anyway, if you want to give this a try, give it a shot. It's tricky. It will take a lot of time. Again, maybe at some point I'll come back and I'll make the road a different color, like a blue or a purple. Or I should make it yellow. The yellow brick road going around here. But I don't know where I can get yellow stuff in there. That'd be kind of cool. But I think I'm done with that part. I was going to do this on a moon. I'm glad I did it here though instead. Give it a shot. You know, it's an interesting little challenge. But anyway, I enjoyed it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Until next time, this is Greg 29407 saying sayonara, and we will see you next time.